How's it going today, guys? My name's Kevin. I'm with Cynet Cybersecurity, and today I have the pleasure of walking you through a demonstration of our all-in-one protection product. Now, everything that you're going to see here is built from Cynet from the ground up. Everything has been designed to work together harmoniously, to cross-pollinate, to share information. So the features that you're going to see will extend visibility from what normally we see in this space as being individual products accomplishing the same goal. Because those individual products will be siloed. They won't talk to one another. Ours all working together as a unit. So really, Cynet has designed a platform of features that are going to facilitate a big portfolio of tool sets that normally users or folks would have. So with Cynet, everything that we're going to get is going to manifest from 3 points of configuration. We have an agent that gets installed. We have SaaS and cloud services that we can connect to. And of course, we can do log collection to give us some extended detection and response capabilities and alerting. From the top, our endpoint security, probably what's going to be shining brightest. We have made waves in the space in the MITRE evaluations for the past 2 years by hitting 100% detection and prevention with zero, and I'll say it again, zero configuration changes. So hoping that in the 2025 results, whenever those are released, we'll keep it up and we'll hit the hat trick here, the 3 in a row, 100%, but with zero false positives, zero configuration changes. Not sure we could have gotten a better score. That's more specifically around our endpoint security, but they are extending things to network and really always raising the bar over at MITRE. So really that is something we are proud of on our endpoint security there. And that endpoint security is going to be driven by two main things: artificial intelligence and the traditional signature-based detection. So artificial intelligence, buzzword of the day, of course, but really what is going to give us our edge, that's going to define different areas that are rules and things you can't do, as opposed to other vendors which will say, this is what you got to go look for. And then when the attackers change it, that's when they fall short. So we stayed nimble with the artificial intelligence there, using the buzzwords of the day, of course. But the agent that drives the endpoint security is going to do a lot, which brings us to user, network, and deception. But that agent really doesn't eat up a lot of disk space or resources, so probably going to sit at 250 megabytes of RAM, somewhere around, 5% of your computer's processing power, and it will never require a restart of your device, which is, I'll just go on about all day. But that agent is going to do some other things here, like user, network, and deception, where we're calling out user behavior analytics, which are really just activities, actions, things that an individual might do that are kind of suspicious. And so by default, Cynet is looking for all the things you see here on your screen, but you can add to this list as well if you wanted to build and add some more. Now, where we're also monitoring the network, we're looking for suspicious activity like port scanning or things happening on the network from the perspective of the device. Remember, it's driven by our agent, and wherever that device may go, we're going to follow and keep an eye on that network. Now, we're also looking at web browsing. So the network we're able to monitor with web browsing allows us to stop malicious web traffic. So going to malicious websites, simply dropping the connection. We can also define categories of websites that you can go to. So, hey, no social media, no shopping on Amazon, no nothing like that. Another cool tactic we use is deception. This is going to represent fake users, fake files, and fake networks. And essentially the idea here is we're creating honeypots or lures, canary files, things that attackers would fall into or interact with, and that'll give us early indications of activity, which we can use to capture those attack cycles and find things early on, stop them from causing more damage. Now, taking your attention off to the left-hand side over here with endpoints, we have misconfigurations and vulnerabilities. These are just more things that the agent's going to call out. So here, misconfigurations are specific to Windows operating systems, but remember the agent does support Windows, Linux, and Mac. Here now calling out these issues with the operating system, you can think about them as like open doors or ways that attackers could use these to, have footholds to cause more damage. So by opening up things like, hey, let's disable auto run, Cynet's going to give us all the ways that attackers could use this against me. It's going to call out the endpoints that are affected, and we're going to give you updated descriptions and ways to fix things. So all good stuff baked in here, but where even better I find more value here is we can actually, in many cases, fix the issue right from our dashboard. So here I can check off print spooling for this example, and the ones that are not fixed, I can fix individually or all at the same time. Pretty neat. Now, similar idea, but a different flavor will be the vulnerabilities. Now, these are going to highlight, again, from that same agent, but now things installed within the operating system that are have known publicized vulnerabilities. So something out there has been said that we really need to fix. Maybe it's, in most cases, going to be a version. So, hey, did you know this version is affected by this known vulnerability? Here is the link to go check it out. All things that our agent's doing. So we see the endpoint security is covered by the agent, user behavior analytics, network visibility, deception tactics, and then we saw what's called that security posture management of the misconfigurations and vulnerabilities. So the agent's really doing a whole lot of stuff, but let's give it a break for a moment here and transition to some of the other things that we can integrate with. And that brings me to the SaaS and cloud piece here. So the things you're seeing on the screen are really representative of what things we can plug into for this specific SaaS and cloud section. And the main thing that we're going to get by integrating with these services is the ability to identify where they may be out of alignment with compliances and standards. So the ones that you see here on your screen, HIPAA, ISO, NIST, etc., we're able to filter for those, but essentially call out and use them as reference to where we see things out of alignment, right? So admins without MFA, yeah, we see 3. We'd love to see 0. We don't want any admins missing MFA. And we see HIPAA, ISO, all these different compliances would agree that's a great thing to change. Now, of course, we're going to give you the description. We're going to tell you how to fix it manually and even give you reference to the different sources of the different compliances. But this is actually a section where very prominently we have a fix button that'll actually allow us to fix many of these things right from the dashboard itself. So really cool, allows us to have that single pane of glass and scale up. Now, if you find yourself on a 365 or a Google Workspace mail server, we can actually implement email security. This is not going to charge an extra license based on the number of users in the tenants of 365 or Google. It's only going to be based on the number of agents installed. That's the price we care about, and we don't ask you how many users are in your tenants. But this is going to add attachment, link, QR code protection, really just those core security, fundamental email security protections that we need to have, keeping us safe from this particular threat vector. Now, if you're thinking about other things that you might be getting out of SINET by connecting to 365, you might be thinking about XDR alerts, and that's where we can actually create alerting on brute force attacks, suspicious user activity, mailbox manipulation, mass deletion of files, a massive list of things that we can call out in 365 as well. But if you want to connect to your firewalls and start sending us logs, we can actually find a number of different command and control and suspicious network activity events within the firewall logs themselves. And many of the major vendors we already have that causation correlation figured out. So when we see the logs coming into our system, we very quickly are able to pick those up and call out those alerts. And there's no additional device that you need on site to collect these logs or anything like that. We actually just stand up a service on a Windows or Linux device. But now within here, I actually have all my logs combined within SINET. I got my firewall logs, I've got my routers, I've got even my endpoint file and Windows event logs being dumped in here. We talked about the 365 logs. Everything's in this one nice big pile for me to start to sift through. And if anyone's ever seen OpenSearch, it's a fork off of Elastic. That's what we're looking at here. My favorite part about this particular interface is it doesn't require a confusing search query language. So I can actually just go through and do my filters right from the user interface, not having to use any brackets or slashes or confuse myself with anything like that. Even better is that SINET has actually put in a bunch of pre-canned dashboards, and these are going to be ways that we've molded the data, taken the logs, and put them into something that might make sense to you, or allow you to find some value right out of the gates here. So making them more consumable. Most logs are very noisy and have trouble finding what's important within those. So try to mold them into something a little bit more easy on the eyes. Now, everything that we're seeing, it really reflects the technology, the computer element. There is also a human element that we wrap in. You can't get away without it. And that would be a 24/7, 365 SOC team. And that is a fully qualified, certified, expert that is doing this day in, day out. You can reach out to them with no additional charge. They are available, just around the clock, over email, over phone, what have you, to work through and answer your cybersecurity questions pertaining to what we might be seeing in the interface. They also can be given prior authorization to isolate devices, and they can also, given the permission to take action on a per event basis. When they call you up on the events, they actually will call you on higher severity events, and you can say, yeah, take care of it for me, would you? So that is a nice high-level sweep of SINET. I'll take the other half or so of my time here and show you a little bit of what life looks like while using SINET, and try to give you a little bit of a taste of what we can do here. So we'll hit alerts, we'll respond to alerts with playbooks and automation, and I'll try to round things off with reporting. So diving right in, alerting is very busy in this particular environment. We got lots going on. I would expect you would not have this much fire to put out if this was your environment. We got high severity alerts, we got critical severity alerts, some ransomware slamming into my environment here. We can see the subtext in blue, but obviously the main category in the gray here, and then a picture to paint what is actually happening in this event. So a malicious process is attacking my host. This little chain with the money bag represents encryption during this user session. But with this little green checkbox off to the right hand side, looks like SINET blocked this from encrypting my device and killed the malicious process. That's great, everything's good. If I want to, of course, you can open it up, you can read all about everything you'd need to know in the description. Pretty self-explanatory. We also give process tree visibility, so you can see where this originated from. A lot of attackers like to obfuscate their attacks by opening up a bunch of other things. We reference MITRE. Hey, did you know this was this kind of technique? Want to read about it? Here you go. We can reference VirusTotal with a click. We have comment sections generating automatically every time I interact with this, but I can also, of course, leave a little message for my team. And even further than just the simple blocking of this encryption, SINET goes with an autonomous responder to take it a little bit further. And that's what we're seeing represented here in this graphic. And what we're seeing is not only did we stop a malicious file, we said, yeah, it was great to do that, but let's also see if that exists anywhere else. Sure enough, we found it existing on 2 other machines, and we went ahead and got rid of it. Awesome. So we kept the record of everything, we collected some artifacts for you to check out, and this is all going to be represented in the span of a 7-minute automated session there. So pretty sweet. In this case, I'd probably close it out. I'm all good. SINET took care of me, but I do have an additional panel to go through some more options. So I don't know, maybe this was something I was doing on purpose. Hey, SINET, get out of my way, right? I can create an allow list, make it very simple, very front and center. We had a 0% false positive rate on MITRE's results, but really in reality, probably more like less than 3, less than 5%, but we never want to be in your way. We got to get out quick. On the Analytic tab, this is where with the click of a button, I can get the SOC team involved. And the last 2 tabs give me the ability and control to automate or take manual remediation steps. So these are all actions that are built in automatically by default out of the box. We have file, user, and machine level actions that we can do. Anything from isolating machines, rolling machines back, running an antivirus scan, running a command, running a script, all kinds of stuff. And even on the users, I can do things in 365, on the local device, wherever it has to happen. These are all going to be the same things our SOC team can do on your behalf should they, reach out to you and they need you to let them off the leash. Now, automatic remediation is always going to be faster than you, me, or the SOC team. So automatic remediation auto-populates when I click this panel off of this ransomware, meaning I don't have to pick out anything or match anything here. I just say what I want to happen. So everything that we did already was great. SINET, but could you also isolate the machine? Thanks. Cool. And I hit save. We also go ahead and isolate. Now, most folks say, we are already doing things out of the box. That's great. You probably don't have to do this, but I'm just going to get, down the rabbit hole as far as I can for you, just to show you where we can go. And if I want to do more than one action, instead of just doing that remediated action there, I can push out a playbook, and now I can have multiple actions going on. And this could be like something on my network, blocking an IP on a firewall, jumping over to my users, doing something over there, maybe going on the endpoint, all these different areas under one roof, under one alert here, under one playbook. Now, most people are in that area and they'll stick there and they're fine. They don't need to go any further. We also have a concept of SOAR playbooks, which allow us to get much more complex, have forks in the road, essentially asking questions where there might be a, inconsistent results or something that we are not predicting. We can say, hey, only in this situation, do this thing. And we have custom scenarios we can create, custom responses now, and we're able to build out our playbooks here. And these actions could have custom scripts, custom web API calls, whatever it might need to have to facilitate the correct response. Now, I hope you're sitting down. I can build on this just a little bit, but I'll keep it short and sweet. We also have a concept of a data lake, which is essentially giving you visibility into all the stuff that we have. Now, at this point, I'm probably flooding you with all kinds of stuff, so I'll definitely keep this brief. Essentially, think of this as an inventory of files, machines, users, domains, networks, sockets. We even map out your network as well, just kind of going all the way for you, showing you everything we possibly can to make it more digestible. So if you want to go through and understand a device, what we know about that device, everything under the sun, even a security score to give you a suggestion on the risk value of it. We can see things from the RAM, the CPU. I can control the storage devices that are allowed to be plugged into it. I can see what installed software it has, updated certificates, everything under the sun, and all interactive as well. So if I don't know who Panda is, this user that might have accessed this device, I can click on Panda and now I see everything there is to know about this user. Pretty in-depth. So we have folks using this very open-endedly, but you can also create custom searches and then custom alerts from those searches. So very much open-ended, very much allowing us to become very customized in our responses, and then building playbooks to complement these alerts. Awesome. So really with this, I could spend a long time on it. I won't do that to you. I'll keep this nice and brief there. As you can see, allows us to create custom alerts. Then we can have custom playbooks. We can have custom actions in those playbooks, fully open-ended there. Now, the last section I'll hit is reporting. Our reporting is automated, so you can schedule it daily, weekly, monthly, whatever needs to happen. And these reports come in many different flavors. So be it a report that represents the alerts we saw earlier, maybe an alert that represents the top risks, which is the values and the scores that we saw. We can also see vulnerability assessments showing off unauthorized applications, missing patches, things of that nature. But my favorite's probably going to be the executive report. This is going to show us all the different things from a high level, just everything all quantified together, giving us a nice bird's eye view of all the different parts of the puzzle here. So I hope you guys found this informative, and if you had any additional questions, feel free to reach out, and I'd be happy to answer those and go through this in more depth. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.